Oh boy, here comes the pain. Oh. I mean, if the harmonies building up to that wasn't beautiful, and then he kicks us with that freaking. Oh, dude, I can't. Hey, welcome everybody to the Hunter Loves Voiceplay podcast, Geoff edition. Here we are talking about a rather famous Elvis song. It was probably very famous enough, but I had never heard it until now, so sorry. Way Down. And I was very surprised with this one coming out of Geoff. Mainly because I think it was another one of those ones that he just wanted to do for himself. I don't know if this one was like highly requested. I don't think so. I'm not sure. Yeah. It was one of those ones that he just wanted to do for himself, just like Saddle Up, and just wanted to be an absolute goofball. And the video, I laugh so hard because when this one first came out, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a backstory. So this one, basically, Geoff is a janitor, and he and his clones are just having, kind of a fun time, but also, I think it's basically like Geoff is alone, and, he's having a rough day, because it's like, he just has to clean everything, and, it's like people left a mess at the theater, and, and I feel that pain. I'm in housekeeping. I feel that pain. And I'm watching this video, and I'm like, that is my life. That is basically what happens. It's like you walk in, you just have this distress of, oh my god, somebody did not manage to clean up this place at all. I know that I'm being hired to do the cleanup for them, but at the same time, it's like, it just never stops. Why? Why? But anyway, then just watching this whole thing, he like comes in with this low hum that, it's like, oh, hello. The arrangement, the backing track is super catchy. Like, you instantly are just, like, kind of grooving in your seat. If you didn't even know, like even before we even start the song, it's like, oh, I am enjoying this already. And then, he just has such that open resonance when he starts singing. And it's just like, dude, come on. You can't be tickling my ears that quick. But, he's done it before. But as you're watching the video, it's been choreographed. Oh my god. So it's like one moment he's like, and he's telling the story of like this janitor's life, right? And it's like, it's like, oh, I'm so lonely. Pulling late hours, cleaning all the time. And it's like, just lies down on floor in front of broom and traces his fingers over the broom. And then picks it up and starts, going all rock star with it. And I'm just like, this is like so bizarre, but it's so hilarious to me. And, it was just fun. It was hilarious. And I cannot take my day-to-day job, the same way anymore. Because every time I use my Windex, I'm thinking I'm using it as hairspray. Or, I look at my broom and I'm like, and then so and then we get into like the second part, and like he's putting his marigolds on. I don't have marigolds. I have nitro. So it's like, peh. It's like, whatever. And then like he's like calling out for the mop. He like takes the mop and like treats it as it was like a woman. And I'm just like, oh my god. And then it's like every time I look at my mop at work, I'm like, so it helps get me through the day. It really does. It helps me get through the day, because if I put that into my mindset of what I'm doing, it's like, you basically just summed up my life right there. And thank you, Geoff, for that reason. And you put one of maybe the toughest jobs in the world into a more joyful light. So it's like, you know what? On those bad days, I just gotta pick up my broom and start playing with it like a guitar, Like, it's like, that's just what I have to do. People would look at me strangely, but you know, it would be like, I really don't care. I can just blame it on all the chemicals that I have probably inhaled throughout this, 8-hour day, which happens. Bleach is bad. Just be very careful. So, there's that. And, arrangement-wise, the harmonies are really good in this one. The backing vocals are super, super good. But it's like, I always get sidetracked because I'm busy watching this video because he brings such a comedic arc to the video. And, I mean, he even shakes his butt. And I wasn't expecting him to go up onto the chair. And this is what followed. After the butt shake, which is very up close. Very up close. And just the facial expression on his clones at that specific moment is perfect. And so he, like, climbs up on the chair, tilts it over, and lands. And it's like, oh my god. So it's like choreography at its finest right there. And it's like, oh man, it's like, how did he not mess up? I mean, he probably messed up a couple times, but he never showed it. So then there's a moment where it's like he takes his janitor clothes and just, tears them off. And he's got like this like Hawaiian shirt. And then he's finally just doing a concert, which I think is like, chemicals have gotten to his brain, and this is basically has happened. And it's funny because it makes me think of Milikaliki Maka. Ha, I said it correctly. That, it's like guys pulling long hours, he's tired beyond measure, chemicals are getting to him, so why not just have a little fun at the office? And then, have his boss look at the security tape afterwards and be like, hey, you want to explain this to me? And then he'd be like, hi. Which actually does happen, because one of his clones is dressed in as, like, his manager. I think it's, is it Geoff? I think it's Geoff. And, yeah, he just kind of walks in, and they're like, hi. And oh my god, he's singing with a toilet bowl brush, which, again, anytime I pick one up at work, I'm like, I'm not gonna necessarily sing with this because it's disgusting. But it's like, oh my god, every time I look at it, I have to snicker to myself. Then there's the dustpan popcorn. Like, there's so many elements in this that it's absolutely hilarious. Video-wise, it's hilarious. I don't think I've laughed so hard in a video since Saddle Up, obviously. But moving on with this one, yeah, it's hilarious. Because you got, like, Manager, Geoff, then you got Geoff, like Geoff with a J. You got Geoff with a J, and then you got Geoff, which is like Geoph. And that is the label that's on my shirt, that I managed to get from Geoff's store. Because I was like, oh my god, I'm like, for me being housekeeping, I gotta get one, I have to. I only wore it to work once, because I was afraid to get bleach on it, for one thing. So then that was like the only reason why I didn't wear it again. I only wore it once to show it off, because one of my coworkers, who's my friend, I've gotten her into Geoff. So, yeah, she laughed her tail off. And we all snicker about it, because it's like, once people have seen the video, and then once they know what I do for a living, it's like, hi. It's like, I can't take my work seriously. As much as I try to, I cannot anymore. Yeah, there's that. And then, so, like, we keep on going. We go through, and then he's, like, doing the concert thing. He's having fun. And, yeah, there's just so many elements in this video that it's just like, I can't pay attention to the audio. But once the MP3 comes out, that's always good, because then it's like I can just listen to the MP3 and then not have any visuals distracting me for it. And listening to the MP3 for this one, his voice is so, I mean, it's relatively deep, but he kind of puts it into that lower key. And it's like, he's just very open with it. And, just a little bit more like seduction to his voice, I would say. Because, that's kind of what he's going for. Because he's like, the song itself is very seductive. Elvis was not short of putting some sexual notes into his music. And I looked it up, and then I listened to it, and I looked up the lyrics, and then I was like, oh dear. I was like, this is something else. This is interesting. And then once I saw Geoff do it, I was like, oh my god. Like, he just took that song and put it into a funny light that I was not expecting him to do. And it was absolutely hilarious. And he did just such an amazing job with it. Yeah, the behind the scenes is hilarious. Oh my god, if you're able to watch that, goodness, it makes me laugh every single time. And it's also a good one for when it's like, hey, I'm having a bad day. Maybe I should rewatch this. Just watch the hilarity ensue. But talking about like audio, going back to audio. But yeah, the audio is super. And like kind of the piano that he uses in this it just brings in the fun. He brings in a lot of the fun. And getting into harmonies, he gets into a perfect level of harmony near the end. And I will talk about the ending. The ending is because a little history here. When this song first came out, a lovely gospel bass by the name of J.D. Sumner had teamed up with Elvis on this specific tune. And he did all of the bass notes in the background. So it's like Elvis would just say like way down, and then like JD would be like way down. Like he'd just be in the background. So it's hoarse right now because it's dry, and I've been trying to drink water, and I've been talking at a higher level, so I'm kind of stretching out my voice here. But and Geoff brings all those elements to the table. He really, same with like Headless Horseman, how he brings in Thurl Ravenscroft to the forefront. He brings in J.D. Sumner. He does. He brings J.D. Sumner kind of back to life in this. And we get to the ending, and then there's this beautiful. How did Peter Barber describe it? Peter Barber described it in a way that I can't remember for the life of me, but he did it very well. And he said that it wasn't easy for somebody like Geoff to layer those tracks in the way that he did it. Because just the ending harmony, it's like, starts with like a way on down, and then it's just like way on. So he starts with that, and then he goes, way on. And then, like, he just goes for it at the end. And, like, he's at the top, but then he's also hitting it lower. And he hits it with a beautiful C1. And it blew my head off the first time I heard it. I've gotten my head back onto my body, but I'm like, dude, come on. And it's like when I listen to the original, JD hits that C1. And hearing JD do it, I'm like, oh my god, that's how. And then sure enough, Geoff did it. And I'm like, my heart be still. He did it. Oh my god, he killed me. And then so we get to the very end. And, beautiful harmony just kind of is in the background, and it's carrying us off to the end. And then all of his clones are there, and one of them's eating popcorn out of the dustpan. The other one is sniffing the toilet bowl. Sniffing and licking the toilet bowl, the toilet bowl scrubber. May I tell you, it's hilarious. And then the other one is like, well, the one that's kind of manager, he's like, Misty Mountains Cold was way better. And like, he's like putting, like, just scratching out whatever it was. But it's just that level of hilarity and that level of comedic genius was definitely put to the plate in this one. And it's, yeah. Geoff did really, really well with this. And I was extremely happy because that song played over and over and over and over. And I was like, like this gives me a different perspective to my job. It's like, gotta eat more dustpan popcorn and lick more toilet bowl scrubber. Clean toilet bowl scrubber. Like, I mean, when they're fresh out of the plastic. Not not after they've been used. Because that's just, ugh. That's, me ending up in the hospital with toxic, something happened. I'm sorry, guys, but I think I'm gonna have to cut this one short because I'm losing my voice here because I've been talking way too loud. And I've also been talking for almost 20 minutes, and then I just did a whole another 20 minutes before this, so my voice is basically ragged. So, yeah, there you go. Check out Way Down. I'll post the original, and I'll post Geoff's version in the description. Support Geoff on Patreon because he's doing some amazing stuff over there. And I can't express it enough that it's worth supporting Geoff, and it's worth supporting Voiceplay on Patreon. And you get t-shirts. So, there's merch involved. Early access to videos, merch, stuff like that. So, how better can that get for somebody like yourself? If you're really liking what you see and you're liking what you hear, definitely support the artist. And he's a super sweet guy as well. He's super. He's got the whole. He has the whole package. Really, he's a nice guy, great voice, loves what he's doing. Stuff like that. So thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to like, leave a comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and I will see you guys in the next video.